The Rebel virtual caravan rolls on, and today let's talk basketball. I can't even wait right now. I'm Chet Buchanan, joined by UNLV men's basketball head coach TJ Otzelberger, his assistants Tim Buckley, Kevin Junior guards David Jenkins, and Marvin Coleman. And we will start with the director of athletics at UNLV. Hello, Desiree Reed-Francois.
Hello there, Chet Buchanan. I know that's quite Otzelberger and Desiree Reed-Francois. It's a good thing you can really articulate so very well.
I got a microphone and everything. I'm a pro.
You are. Thank you. But in all seriousness, as today is a special day. Today is Juneteenth. And before we start talking basketball, which I'm really excited to do, I'd like to throw it out to this group or any thoughts that they may have on this special day. So gentlemen, anyone jump in?
Yeah, for myself, I think this is a monumental day for us as African American. As a culture, I think it's been the last couple of days. It's been obviously brought up to attention across the nation of such a day. But for us, it's been something that's recognized for a lifetime. And I think that it's unfortunately it's a shame that certain individuals think that they brought recognition to the day. But this has been a celebration for a long time, and the celebration of freedom and recognition that we all were one and created equal. So pretty excited about the day, and also pretty excited that it's being brought to the forefront as time moves forward.
Thank you very much, Coach. And I know that this has been a time of challenge these past couple months, but it's a time that we also approach with open hearts and open minds and a sincere commitment to wanting to get better. So I thank all of you. We recognize that we're all learning, but we're all in this together. So thank you very much for being here. And now let's talk about some light. And we have the new stadium coming on board, but Runnin Rebel basketball is so incredibly special to this community. So I'm looking forward to the next hour. So I'll turn it back over to you, Chet.
Yeah, and as a friend of mine said on TV this morning too, Juneteenth's been around for 155 years. It's taken that long to bring it to the forefront, and it's about time. That, you know, and in a lot of communities, there have been celebrations for years, and it is a time of celebration and like you said, of freedom. And so happy Juneteenth, everybody. So, Coach, let's talk basketball. So in your first season, finished second in the Mountain West. That's the best league finish in over 12 years. The team came on strong late. The last 5 regular season games, you win all 5 of those. The big win at San Diego State. What do you attribute? I mean, obviously, every coach wants their team to peak in March, and that's exactly what this squad did. And what do you attribute that to?
Well, I think our guys, the hard work they had, really, you know, over the course of the season as a coach, you want to pace your team and you want to continue to improve as the year moves on. It's a credit to the character of the young men in our program that their work habits on a daily basis continue to improve and take over later in the season. I thought our team, as much as anybody in the league at that time of the year, we were playing as hard as anybody, competing, diving for loose balls, blocking shots, running the floor in transition, willingness to take charges, all those intangible plays that lead to winning. And then they were together. I think there was times during the year where guys were trying to figure out where their role is or how they could impact winning. And we got to a point late in the year where they realized that if we were just together, and we talked about a lot in our locker room, that the most together team have a great chance to win. And our guys embraced those ideals, and fortunately, we were at our best going into March.
Yeah, and if you want to be a part of that as we begin later on this year, hopefully everything will stay on track. UNLV basketball tickets start at $119 for the entire season. There is nothing, I'll talk to Kevin about this in a minute, there is nothing like it when the Thomas and Mack gets rocking. I've been doing sports for a lot of years. There is nothing like it when Rebel fans get revved up. So we want to see you in the Thomas and Mack. Go to unlvtickets.com. And just by being here today and being part of this Rebel virtual caravan, you're in the running for UNLV prizes. You're in the running for Nike prizes. And we want you to be a part of this conversation as it rolls along. I don't want to be the only one asking questions. So use the Q&A button down there at the bottom of your screen, and we'll try and get in as many as we can as this goes along. And Kevin, like I touched on a second ago, and like Coach was saying, the excitement started to roll, and the fans started coming back into the Thomas and Mack, and it was a fun time to be part of Rebel basketball again. Can you take us back to when you were playing at the Thomas and Mack, and just what that really is, how that compares to other buildings when this crowd gets rocking?
No, I think you said it exactly right. There's nothing like the Thomas and Mack when it's rocking. And you think back to the games of, as a player, and just kind of as the crowd began to grow, it was a lot of similarities to this past season. The guys started kind of gelling together. When we would be out in the community, you would hear about the compliments and how complimentary the fans were, and how excited they were because of how hard they played, how they were coming together. They enjoyed watching them because you could tell they were enjoying each other, playing for each other. And I think when that is reflected on the court, that's where the fans in the community really come to support the guys. And the group we had last year, obviously, as you said, continued to get better throughout the year. And the group that we got coming in this year to blend with the guys that were here, I think the fans are going to enjoy what they see, how hard they play, how hard they enjoy the game, how much they enjoy playing with each other. And it's just going to be a team that's going to be very easy and fun to get behind and support.
And in the growth of every program too, there's always that shock the world moment. There's that one big watershed moment where it looks like you've kind of started to turn a corner. Marvin smiling over. I'm talking about San Diego State. San Diego State was number 4 in the nation at that time. They were undefeated. There's always a little attitude down there in Viejas, and it's a hostile environment, and it was so quiet heading towards the end. And I'll throw this around to the coaches and then maybe to the fellas as well. But what was the mindset going into that game? Because I know that's been, and I'll start with Coach Otzelberger. The mindset is everything, and there's been an attitude shift, and you've brought that, and you can see it start to permeate the program. What was the mindset in the locker room before that game?
Well, as we prepared for that game, we were disappointed in ourselves because we let that opportunity get away at home a few weeks before. We thought we're every bit as good as San Diego State. Maybe they were fortunate to get we got in the late game, playing really well, and we didn't take a backseat to anybody, and felt like we kind of got stuck offensively for a 4 or 5 minute stretch on our home court in front of our fans, and that didn't sit well with us. It didn't resonate. We were really looking forward to that next opportunity. So much of what went into that game was the motivation of saying, we let one get away at home. We had them at home. We had an opportunity to beat that team, and we let it get away. So the level of focus and preparation on details going into that game, you could tell we had a very captive audience. Everybody knew every play was going to matter. And it proved to be true, because even though we built a lead, there was some stretches there in that second half where, they clawed their way back into the game. But more than anything, we were also appreciative that that was a big night for San Diego State to hang their conference championship banner. And so we welcome those type of challenges. And like when people do those type of things, it gives us a little bit extra motivation. And that's what we needed on that night. And we were appreciative of that.
Coach Buckley, I know that for fans, it had that feel like this could be that day. You woke up that morning and it was like, this could be that day. Was that sense? Were you feeling that from the guys and amongst the coaching staff as you went into a big game like that, nationally televised and all of that?
It was in there, they were anticipating the banner being hung and, the greatness of that team. But you could see the confidence in our guys when they were warming up, and it almost fueled them to the point where we're really looking forward to this atmosphere. And I think all the things we went through to get to that day helped us. We had a stretch, where I think we'd lost 3 or 4 in a row based on how the schedule was set up, and we fought through that. And we knew that if we could get through some of those things, if we could figure out how to win those overtime games, we could really go into one of these environments and win.
From your perspective, Marvin, what were the guys saying? I mean, what were the conversations pregame? Because there are moments with the coaches, and then there are moments with the players. And what were you guys talking about?
Just to piggyback on what Coach TJ said, we felt like we let it get away from us at home. We went down a stretch. I think we didn't score for 9 minutes straight, and we lost by 4. So we had that in the back of our minds, and obviously San Diego State had the target on their back the whole time. I feel like Coach Slocum prepared us pretty well as his scout and, all the coaches. So we were just locked in mentally 100%. And, there was just a little bit of, nervousness, jitters, because we hadn't played in a crowd like that. The ground was shaking. It was crazy. But, just like Coach TJ said, when they hung up their banners and, Matt Mitchell had his 1,000 points and everything, that kind of, I don't know. I took that nervousness and everything just went out the window, and those competitive juices just started flowing before tip-off even started. So, right when we got there, we knew it was business.
Well, there's no question playing San Diego State, when UNLV and San Diego State, and especially on that day, you mentioned Coach Slocum's scout. So was this the Hoosiers moment where it was like, okay, well, the basket's 10 feet tall and, playing in the big building, were you able to see something going into that game where you went, these guys are vulnerable, we can get them?
Every game, I feel like, my team and all of us, we were just connected. There was one point in the game where Yanni Wetzel, he fell to the floor and nobody on their team went and picked him up. And, us, Bakke, I think it was Bakke and Nick Blair, they both fell to the floor. All 4 of us are running over there. So at that point in the game, when I saw Yanni Wetzel fall on the ground and none of his teammates picked him up, we talked about it in our huddle, and these guys aren't as connected as us. And, nothing against them. They're a great team, had great players. But at that point in time, I knew, the cat was in the bag. We had it. We were way more connected. We had been through way more adversity during the season. So, we were prepared.
But Coach Slocum, did you see something in that San Diego State team? I mean, obviously you played them at home and thought you should have won that game. Then were you able to dissect something in them that you were like, okay, yeah, they're undefeated. They're number 4 in the nation. They're formidable. They're really good. Were you able to find that thing, or was it more just like, hey, keep doing what we're doing?
Yeah, I do. I think it was more of keep doing what we're doing. Like our focus that week, I clearly remember it's about our guys. And Marvin said the key word, it was about being connected. And I clearly remember that game, Buck and I, before the game started, watching our guys warm up. There's always a certain feeling that you can look in your eyes and see, in your guys' eyes, and see if they're ready to play. I remember after our first dead ball, I said to myself that this is going to be a fun night. Because you didn't have to yell at the guy and tell him to huddle up. You didn't have to yell at our guys to tell them, like Marvin said, to get connected, stay connected. They were on their own. They were doing it. They were embracing the environment. So I knew at that point it'd be a fun night.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing to, I think moving forward to really build on, and the great finish. And, you all of a sudden you've stepped up to to that level that that you can be. Now, I think you said the other day, Coach Otzelberger, there are 8 new players that are coming in. And it's funny, you don't think about that as that, it kind of feels like you've been here a while already. And now you're still building a team. Guys coming in, what can we expect from some of these new guys in the coming season?
Well, more than what they'll do on the court, you can expect them to be tremendous young men. The passion for basketball. The thing we look for first and foremost is guys who love this game, and we're able to connect and work and develop them and bring a team together by people that have a passion. So they're going to be guys that play extremely hard with a lot of passion and are excited to be Runnin Rebels. On the court, there's a lot of youth to that 8, right? There's 6 guys have never played college basketball before. And that's going to put even more onus of leadership on guys like Marvin, Coleman, and David Jenkins to be great examples every single day as people, as students, as community member, as leaders on the court. And so we know that with the leadership we have, the returning players that we have, that we're in a great spot because of how much confidence we have in them to bring in some young talent and really help develop those guys. So, we can go across the board. Edo Del Cadia from Italy that'll come in as a junior. I mean, he is a hard-playing rebounder, flies around, brute force, tough guy. Caleb Grill, we're not sure if he'll be eligible yet. The other transfer from Iowa State. I mean, tremendous athlete, competitor, winner, just loves to be out there with his teammates and bring it. And then 6 freshmen, and 3 are local guys. Nick Blake is one that's very highly touted, a versatile guard, 6'6", that does a lot with the ball, great rebounder, playmaker. Donovan Yap, a dynamic guard that can make plays with the ball. Jaylon Martinez, big fellow with a lot of skill and touch, can shoot it and pass the basketball. And then Isaac Lindsey, a shooter from Wisconsin, a guy's got a really high basketball IQ and feel. Reese Brown from New York coming in, great athlete, just winner, passer, playmaker. And then Devin Tillis, guy from Windward, California, man, just high IQ, great skill level winner. So we feel like we're fortunate with that bunch. They're going to give us, when they get to campus, they're going to give us a huge burst of energy. They're going to be guys that want to work, that want to play with passion for UNLV, and we couldn't be more excited to get started. We're ready to go.
And there, it's great. There are a lot of questions coming in. You can click the Q&A button down at the bottom and ask a question. And just some people are just excited. Our buddy Justin, he's like, "Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. I'd just like to say that I can't wait for the season. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Let's do it. Let's pack the MAC." And that's the kind of excitement. And it's so funny as I'm sitting here and I'm looking at David Jenkins here on the screen, and I'm like, it feels like we've known each other a long time already, in anger for the Rebels. So it'll be exciting to see DJ get out there and join Marvin and the other guys who are coming back, and Buckley and the rest of the guys who are coming back. And it's going to be really exciting in the Thomas and Mack. And again, tickets start at just $119. Go to UNLVtickets.com. Robert B., you've got a Raising Cane's gift basket. Hang on a second. Get the Raising Cane's plug in there. Hey, the Raising Cane's gift basket. Congratulations. And the marketing team will reach out so you can claim your prize. And just by being here, you don't have to ask a question. Just by being here, you're in the running for more prizes that we'll do as we continue on. I'm going to swing one back around to Kevin. This is a brutal preseason schedule. I mean, this is there are a lot of really big games against a lot of really tough teams. Is this you want to win every game, or is this, hey, let's go get battle hardened so we're ready to go into the conference season?
No, I think we expect to win them all. I think that's just the competitiveness in all of us. And obviously the schedule is very tough. It's tough. We've got some really tough road games. We're not playing only neutrals. We're going on the road and playing people. And obviously with Maui, big time event, national event. But no, we the guys know, and Coach Deshaun and those guys are putting the schedule together that we've got a group that's going to go fight, going to go compete. And so that's why this schedule is exciting, challenging, kind of all rolled into one. But we know the guys will go fight. And that's just a fun group to be around, knowing that you're going to go into every arena and every venue. And just like the San Diego State one Coach Slocum talked about, just fun to go with those guys and go fight with them. And so, no, we expect to get after it, though.
And thank you to Paul R. for that question. And to that end, when you're talking about the guys who will go fight, Ronald L. says the style of play, especially defensive intensity, was so evident this year. I'll swing this back around to Coach Buckley. Is a 4-guard lineup something that you intend to continue going forward since it was so successful? Michael M. would like to know.
Well, I think anytime you can mismatch your lineups, you have an opportunity to be successful. And I think our style of play allows for us to play a lot of different lineups. But if you can put 4 guards on the floor and guys can drive the ball and make shots and get the defense to collapse and put pressure on people in your transition game, that's a plus. But I think you'll find that some of our bigger guys are multi-positional guys. So you're really not locked into this guy's a 2-guard, this guy's a point guard. It's more about basketball players who can guard a lot of different positions and can also play inside and outside.
And that's the way that's the way it is these days. You got to be, your 5 might be shooting a 3, your big guy in the post might be shooting a 3. And that's, as Marvin and David start laughing. But but that's how it works, guys. The Spurs really brought that over to America, and it's kind of proliferated over the last few years. To that end, John H. would like to know, will we look different as a team this year, specifically on offense? I guess
Well, I think what we aim to do, and again, I've begins to have 2 years and being able to coach a talent like he is gifted scorer. Obviously, Bryce had a tremendous season from a scoring standpoint as well. Marvin has the innate ability to just make everybody better and figure out what teams need to do to win. And, maybe hit a couple big shots this year as well, too, if memory serves me correctly. So I think when you look at our group, what we're going to do is evaluate the strengths of the players we have and put them in the best situation for them to be successful individually and collectively. And we've got 3 great guards in the backcourt. Obviously, with Buckley coming back, there's a guy that will continue to look to expand his game and hard he plays and how competitive he is. But we're always going to be a defensive-minded, hard-nosed, tough, gritty group that when we get a stop, when we get a long rebound, a steal, a deflection, a turnover, we are going to sprint out, and we're going to take a tremendous amount of pride in playing fast in transition and also exercising the discipline that you need to have to play in the half court, score latent shot clocks, and break your opponent's spirit.
Yeah, let's switch it over to the fellas for a second. Marvin, obviously, a lot of people know your story. You grew up here as I'm looking at him, I should be looking at the camera, but I'm looking at Marvin on my screen. But we're just, as a local guy, so proud of you. And we know the story. You walked on, you earned the scholarship, then you get in the starting line. Then goes down the stretch, and we know that the story is not written. You're working hard heading into the season, and it's exciting, because you grew up in Las Vegas, and what Runnin' Rebel basketball means to this community. What goes into your routine right now as you get ready to go into this junior season?
I'm still trying to be consistent. I'm the same person from when I walked up. Changed a little bit, but my work ethic, my mindset, my mentality has been the same. Like you said, I know the rich history that we have here, so I want to be a part of bringing it back. So, doing things like, making sure obviously my body's right, getting shots up, things like that on the court, but also being able to build relationships with my teammates. Like you said, we have 8 new guys coming in. So, reaching out to them every single day, especially in a time like this when we're not together when we should be, making sure I check on the guys, making sure, guys like David, Buckley, Moses, guys that are here, hanging out with them, just building that relationship, just because, it goes way longer than just, on the court. We're going to play, but like our relationships off the court will help us, the togetherness and everything you see on the court, that all starts now. So just doing things like that. Obviously, I'm in the gym working on, what I need to work on, but more importantly, building relationships with my teammates.
David, I can't even begin to tell you how impressed I was just watching you be a leader of this team that you were not going to play for. For the entire year, and just how you really stepped up in that role. You played 2 seasons for Coach Otzelberger at South Dakota State. And why did you follow him here to UNLV?
Honestly, I'd say the biggest thing why I followed TJ was just because when I was coming out, I went to prep school after high school, and I was low recruited. Not a lot of coaches wanted to take the chance on me, and I felt like TJ showed consistency when it came to recruiting me, and he showed me that he wanted and needed me. He came to my prep school a few times to see me, and it showed me that that he was going to put his loyalty in me, and he believed in me when no one did. So I felt like, and that was a big thing for me because I'm a loyal guy overall. So I went to South Dakota State, and he proved to me what he said, because a lot of coaches will tell you, what you want to hear at the end of the day. But he like fulfilled everything he told me he was going to do for me. And I feel like it worked both ways. I was able to help him, and he was able to help me. And I feel like the fact that with the same guy who showed me the same loyalty as once before. So I feel like we click and we work together. So I wanted to stick with what I knew at the end of the day. And TJ's a guy of he's a consistent guy. He won't tell you to do something and he's not doing it. He's always working. He's in the gym 5 a.m., 6 a.m., working hard before we are. You know, he's always in the office after that, making sure he's doing game plans, doing certain things to make sure we're successful at the end of the day. And I just feel like anybody who's like that, I want to be in his corner. I want to follow in his footsteps.
How much does this Rebel team, and especially obviously the one that you saw last year on the court, how much does this look like what you were used to at South Dakota State?
I mean, it looks like a lot, especially as the time went on. I feel like one thing we were really missing in this program was discipline. I feel like UNLV's last few teams always had a lot of talent, you know, but it was just the discipline fact. And I already knew TJ was going to bring that in. I remember, it's funny, the first day I got here, I had class. I didn't know where any of the classes were, and I was like 2 minutes late to class, and I had to run for it. And I said, TJ, I didn't know, you know, he said, come on, man, you know how it goes. And that's just one thing. That's just an example to show you how everything goes here. He's a man of persistent. He's persistent with everybody. Plays no favorites. He's just consistent with everything. So I feel like the fact that he brought that disciplinary fact, I knew this was going to help this team. And everybody, when they started to buy into the philosophy, what he was preaching, what all of our coaches were preaching, you seen late in the season, we started to be successful as a team.
Coach Slocum, what are we going to see from DJ when he gets on the court later on this week?
Well, he's pretty good with the basketball in his hand in terms of just making plays and behind the arc in the paint, and we're going to press him and make sure defensively he's locked in, and I think he got better over the last couple months practicing with us, but I expect some scoring at a high level for sure.
Congratulations to Ryan H. Gets a UNLV Nike backpack and a polo. Congratulations. And John H. wants to know, and I guess it goes without saying, but David, can you describe how excited you are to put on that UNLV jersey and put on the scarlet and gray and get out there in the Thomas & Mack this year?
Man, exciting is an understatement, man. TJ had said in his first interview when he had first got the job that he wanted to bring the magic back to this program. And I just felt like when I heard those words, that's just something I wanted to be a part of. And I've always thought that throughout the whole season. Obviously, I couldn't play, but I was on the bench hyping my guys up and just excited to play. Sometimes I want to just run out on the court, because I was so excited to play. And I was just filled with joy by seeing them play on the court. So I'm more than excited, and I'm excited to see the fans out there, and I'm going to play as hard as I can. I'm going to make sure my teammates are the same way, because we're definitely going to bring the magic back to this program.
TJ, what are we missing? Did we cover it all on David Jenkins? Did we get – you know him better than any of us.
Well, I'll tell you what I appreciate so much about David, and as a coach, where we work well together, is he has an extreme high competitive level and passion for this game, and he wants to be successful. And I think as a coach, he mentioned some things about me earlier. We want to challenge each other. It's like I want to outwork David every day, but we know that we're doing this together. I want him to raise the level of our coaches. I think Marvin did a great job last year and how he brought our team together. And so we want to continue to, in our environment, everybody better each other. And so David does a great job of that. He loves the big moment. He hits big shots. He's a winner. He's a competitor. He's going to be a fierce on-ball defender. You're going to see a guy this year that when the other team brings that ball over half court, he's going to be in a stance with his hands clapping, ready to pounce, get after that basketball. He's going to be a guard that rebounds down and comes up with 5-6 rebounds a game. So David's proven he can be a great scorer, and our job is to bring out the best in him in some of those other areas. I know we're all going to work together to do that.
I love that. Marvin, you too? Because I could tell you were like, yes, he is, but yes, I am. I want to do it. Me too.
Yes, sir. David plays with a lot of passion. A lot of passion. That's a lot of passion.
I'm excited. Also because, not for nothing, that people, I guess I'll go to Coach Buckley on this one. People shortchange basketball players that are in Tacoma, Washington and are in Las Vegas, Nevada. Is that accurate? The people, it always feels that way, but I grew up, David and I grew up not too far from each other. And obviously I've been in Las Vegas for, it seems like all of my life. I try to protect my own a lot, but is that accurate that players from the Seattle area, players from Las Vegas get a little bit shortchanged?
I would say in the coaching community, Seattle and Las Vegas players. I would say the thing about David is he is an incredible competitor, and he makes it difficult sometimes for your team because David has the ability to make hard, tough shots. And when other players see David take those tough shots, they think they have the right to take them too. The problem is they don't make them like he does. And so you have to talk with everybody about their shot selection and what they need to do. And I think the thing that David really brings to our team is competitiveness. And now what we need for him to be is competitive in our closeout drills and competitive in the different things that we do that aren't necessarily the fun part of the game, but it's going to make him an even better player than he is today.
James B., congratulations. You get a UNLV Nike shirt and you get shorts along with that as well. Everybody stick around. If you stay here on this call and stick with us all the way to the end, you might win a prize. We're just picking people at random. You don't have to ask a question, but if you want to, Q&A buttons down there on the bottom. We've got a ton of them. A lot of people asking, Coach, it looked like you sped the offense up in your first year. Are you hoping to push that tempo even more? I think we kind of touched on that, but it is the Runnin Rebels, and everybody all the time, they want to know, are we going to run and are we going to push the tempo? Do you see that happening?
We absolutely want to continue to push the tempo. I think, so many people remark at the back-to-back home games with New Mexico and San Jose State when, we were up near 100 in back-to-back games. And to me, it was our defense was great, our intensity, our intent, our ability to finish plays, and then it allowed us to get out and run and get out and go. And I think there's no team in America that plays fast when you're taking the ball out of the net. So teams that want to play fast and score in transition, you do that through great defense. But we're going to continue to be a great defensive team. We're going to put our emphasis there and know that that's going to get us out in transition. And with the players that we have and how much they play for each other and share that ball, it's going to be a thing of beauty to watch.
For many years, the Rebellion was a huge part of the experience at the Thomas and Mack, especially like when Kevin played. It was packed out. And I guess, Desiree, I think this is maybe even a question for you. How can we as fans help get more students at the MAC? I know there've been discussions that have been had about that. So how can we as fans help to bring more students back?
We have the Rebellion is phenomenal. And we are going to continue to invite people to participate. And the more they come and they get to know these young men and all those associated with this program, the more they're going to realize how hard our folks are working to make people proud. And they're going to not want to miss out. And that's what we're going to create. This is going to be a cannot miss environment. And we all know the energy that you have when you're at Thomas and Mack, you can feel it. When it's packed, there is nothing better. And so that's like what Marvin said and David said. We're going to bring that magic back, but it's going to take all of us contributing and all of us pulling together. And we're going to create opportunities just like this Caravan for people to get to know the special people in this program. But Chet, I'm going to jump in with a question if you don't mind. One thing that I really appreciate with Coach Otzelberger and the partnership that we have is we talk a lot about culture. We talk a lot about leadership. And when I'm listening to his assistant coaches, who are some of the best in the country, I'll put our coaching staff against any in the entire country. I'm really proud to be associated with this group. And when I'm listening to Marvin and to David, and when I see Marvin and the great work that he does in our community, he does some work that people don't even realize, like Nevada Youth Network. Marvin goes over there, and on Easter, he's packing gift baskets to give to young people in the Jets area. And David Jenkins is what I love about David Jenkins. I haven't seen him shoot. He tells me he's a really good shooter. I don't know if that's accurate, but he's not afraid to share the opinion. But one thing on David that I loved is this this team-oriented approach. Like on the bench, there is no one cheering more than David Jenkins for his team, and I love that. So my long-winded way of asking Coach Otzelberger, culture, the culture that you're building and that mental toughness, How are you doing that? And what can folks look forward to seeing about this culture?
Well, like you mentioned, it starts with great people, right? It starts with great leadership team, which every day with you and your staff setting the tone for our department. It starts with the coach and the people that are part of our group, being people with elite character, with family values, that are team oriented, that aren't into their ego or their self-interest. They're into being part of something better than themselves and something bigger than themselves. And then that carries on into the players. I mean, we recruit guys. Marvin, Coleman, I'm so proud of these two guys, Marvin and David, who they are as people. Like Kevin said earlier, we want to win every game, but we want to see guys who are successful for the rest of their life as community members, husbands, fathers, basketball players, or whatever profession they select when the ball stops bouncing. And so the biggest part of our culture is our guys understanding, and everybody in our organization standing, that there's no shortcuts, there's no compromise, that this is about waking up every single day, roll up your sleeves, get your lunch pail, put in more hours, expand your work capacity, challenge yourself to do things you didn't even know were possible, and then bring something every day to make your teammates better. And there's things culture-wise that we do every day, and David talked about some of the discipline, or Marvin could tell you about some of the standards. But really what it comes down to is be great, bring everything you've got, leave it at the gym, leave it in the classroom, leave it in the community, and when you lay your head down every single night, say, man, that was gratifying, and guess what? I'm fired up to do that again tomorrow. That was awesome. These people I'm doing it with, they make me better, and that's tremendous. And so we're going to aim to do that every single day. We're going to bring the passion. We're going to bring the enthusiasm. We're not going to cut corners. We're going to do the hard work. We're going to take the stairs. But I'll tell you this, what we're going to do is continue to build winners all across the board, and young men that are playing with such a tremendous passion for this university, this campus, and this community. And I can't wait. I'm ready to go to the practice floor right now. I want to go play a game. Let's get it going. Sell the season tickets.
Let's go. Because but you know what you talked about, that's what winners do. That's what winners do. You bring it every day and you go hard. And a person on this, as I'm looking around at the different faces, I know this is from Desiree to Coach Slocum to Coach Kruger to Coach Buckley and to David and Marvin. That's how you win, is you go about your business in that way. And it's awesome, because I know every one of these people are those people. And that's why you need to be a part of this program. I'll never forget, we first met back in, 2005, right? You guys had just come back from beating Reno up at Mackey. They drug him with his dad, who was coaching at the time. And it was just, we knew then it was starting to build, and it's got that feel again. So go to UNLVathletics.com. If you don't already have your tickets, they start at $119, and just be a part of it, because it is going to be exciting. Now, with that said, obviously with COVID, that's put a crimp in recruiting. I know you got 8 new guys and everything's, you're kind of set there, but how has that changed that process for you guys? And I'm not even sure where to direct that question to. Just speak up. Coach Buck, Coach Kruger, Coach Slocum.
Well, I guess, yeah, like you said, we've been lucky enough to, get our work done early in term. Obviously, as we look forward to 2021 PSAs and 2022s, obviously it's a lot of Zooms. And with 22s, we were able to call them for the first time this week. So again, just constantly staying in contact with those guys over Zoom or phone calls. But as of now, there's obviously, you can't have guys on campus. We can't go out and see them. So just keeping that on the forefront, keeping in contact, continuing to dish out our brand and let them know that UNLV has a platform for them here in Las Vegas.
How tough is it to keep these guys together as a team? I mean, you got 8 new guys. How tough is that to form that bond and to create that unit? How tough is that, Coach Otzelberger?
Well, you know what? It's the guys on this call, Marvin and David. It's those guys that bring it all together. You know, we have a lot of limitations as coaches, rules, when we can spend time with them, when we can be in the gym with them, and all those things. But they can be together all the time. And when you have great people who are great leaders as veteran players in your program, those guys are the ones that bring everybody together. Like Marvin said, it's not about waiting until November or October when we start practice and saying, hey, let's get to know each other better and let's build that synergy and chemistry. We've challenged our guys through Zoom calls. Marvin's taken the reins, having guys connect in different ways. David's done a good job putting people together. It's about building that relationship, investing in each other, putting those hours in right now. And I think getting better during COVID is a lot different than in a normal schedule, to your point. And so we've got to invest more in those relationships, more into that trust, more in that understanding other people, what makes each of us tick, what motivates us. And I know with Marvin and David, they've been very intentional as they get to know their new teammates. You got to know which guys need a little bit of a, put your arm around them and explain something, which guys need you to challenge them, who are going to be the guys that are there early and stay late, who are the guys that maybe we have to teach a little bit more about what our culture is about. But I couldn't be more proud of who they are and who we have as a leadership team in our program, because I know those guys will set the tone and bring everybody together.
Yeah, and Paul C. brings up a question about, and at times, and for those of us that have been around for a little bit, at times it's been a really weird thing, and maybe it's just college basketball, and I'm more in tune to it. But Paul asked the question about playing to your opponent. Like sometimes a lesser team that's not doing as well will come in, and it seems to be a bit of a struggle. But I guess back to your point is then that's where that character comes in, and where you go in and you do the work, and you don't let up just because maybe it's a team that's only got one win in conference or whatever, and you got to pound them. I mean, I think it all ties in together, doesn't it?
Yeah, I felt like our guys, by the time we started to progress through conference play, that we were playing at a level where our guys knew how important every possession was. We wanted to compete and win every single possession. And there were games at home where Colorado State were up 40 and Boise State were up 20 something, and San Jose and New Mexico. I mean, so I don't think for one second this group is going to play up or down. We're playing against ourselves. We're competing with ourselves. In the standard we set. We don't care about anybody else's standard. We care about the standard we set in this program, that we set for each other, and we know what we can do together. And you're going to see a team that doesn't take possessions for granted, much less games for granted.
Yeah. And besides that, I think Kevin would figure out a way to get 10 more minutes of eligibility and go suit up. And things would change quick. Let me throw this to you, Kevin Kruger. Obviously, had a great year here at UNLV, and what's it like to come back as a coach?
It's been fantastic, really. The opportunity to come back, work with Coach, and he mentioned Coach Buckley and Slocum even when we were talking about it, but to do it here in Vegas where we consider it to be home, and to be a part of it, and like Coach was saying, you got a pretty good group of guys to be around. So getting to enjoy the Mendenhall and be back in the Thomas and Matt, do that daily and be back here in Vegas is it's just been a dream. It's been really fun. But if you don't mind me kind of adding to the point before, if the fans playing up in one way and help us get off to a good start is being early, getting there, wearing red, being loud, getting there, because when the fireworks go off and you hear that crowd of 15, 18,000 at the UNLV chant part at the end of the fight song, it'll give you goosebumps every time. So they need to be there early, be loud, help us get off to a good start, and the level of competition won't matter at all.
You know, that's that soapbox that I stand on. I think we should all be standing for the fight song. We used to have shirts that were come early, cheer loud, wear red. Everybody knew the words to the fight song. And I think we will get back to that. But I mean, when fans start asking, well, what can we do? That's what you can do. You can be engaged and be involved and get after it. Going down, like I said, how great it was to have Kevin and just to see Kevin on a regular basis again. And Coach Slocum, what has surprised you about being in Las Vegas and being part of UNLV basketball?
Wow, I think growing up here, you recognize, as a kid, the brand itself is such a national brand, and but not in a million years would I imagine I had an opportunity to coach here. And so
Right.
it was just today I walked on, and I'm sorry, Desiree, but I did have a black shirt on and I changed it to red. But as I changed, I realized, like, man, it's a heck of an opportunity to be here, and I'm so blessed. And I just, growing up as a kid, I can't really describe the feeling to be a part of it as an employee and as a, just a part of the community that continues to empower our youth, our young men, to empower our brand. So I'm just super excited, and it starts with our guys like David and Marvin, man. I think when you've done this for 18 years, there's certain feelings that you walk into a season and start to, you have. You know whether you've got a bunch of guys that are locked in, whether you've got a bunch of guys that probably just trying to get through the year. And I think with this group headed with Marvin, we know what he is and what he's about. You feel so much better going into a season. So I get goosebumps just talking about this thing started.
Yeah. And DeMarlo, it's so funny because we start out as fans. We start out as fans, and then we get to walk out. We walk out on that court. We're in the Thomas and Mack. Oh my goodness, we're in the Thomas. We get to help build this thing. It's amazing. The question, what actually sent me down this path, was obviously Coach Otzelberger. It's a little bit different, South Dakota State coming to Las Vegas. What has surprised you about being here?
So you're saying Brookings, South Dakota, and Las Vegas, Nevada are different? They're not
It's a little
similar?
Slightly.
I just wanted to make sure that I had that clarification. What's been great to me, as much as I love being the head coach of this program, I take it with tremendous sense of gratitude and want to do a great job for everybody in this community. Being a husband and a father is number one to me. And what I'm most appreciative, not surprised, appreciative about the family values, the togetherness, the warm welcomes, and how much everybody's accepted our family, because that's what warms my heart. Sometimes you work the way we do, you're not able to be around your family as much as you might like when in some other professions, and so to know that there's a network of people in a community putting their arms around. And you know what? This is such a blue collar town. It's people that are hard workers. It's people that have those values. And so to me, it's not been a surprise. It's been more of embracing what Las Vegas is and trying to do what we can to do our small part to make this community amazing.
I thought this was an interesting question and I'll send this to Coach Buckley. Can you, maybe they just took that question away from me. I'm not sure. They were talking about how there are a lot of, it seems that is a bigger, is this a newer thing? Is this a newer thing? Because it didn't seem like there was so much movement before. Is this a newer thing, or is it just a more in vogue thing?
I think, with social media and all that stuff, it's just become an in vogue thing. I would say this, I think any successful player that you talk with and you ask them about their career, you find out that early on they had to deal with some type of adversity, and they overcame that adversity, and then that's what made them really good. And I think sometimes there are viable reasons, and I think there's other times where, I just had a bad day today and I can't get through it, and I might take a trip to the portal. But I think it usually helps to figure out what you need to do to be better. And, we have somebody here in Marvin Coleman that, I don't know how many games it was, but Marvin used to sit right next to me, and he didn't check into the game, and he never changed his attitude. He never wavered. And I think we all see what the end product was. And, he's the local guy that did good, but it didn't start out great. It didn't start out great for Bryce. And what I'm really proud of both of those guys is there was a moment where they both said, I'm going to be 100% coachable. And they were, and they had success. And I think it's a great example for our new guys that are coming in here, and they need to go talk with those guys about their scars and the things that they had to endure to get to where they are.
Yeah. A couple of comments just really quick. First of all, Mitchell C, will you win team issued UNLV Nike warm-ups? Denny Renee says, I'm more excited as this call goes on for the season to start. I'm thrilled with TJ and our other coaches, and I'm happy to have met David, Marvin, and some of the other players that are nice young men. Kudos to Desiree for getting it all started. And you know what? And not for nothing, I'll say this in front of everybody. Desiree's a rock star. We're so blessed to have you here. True story. To have close relationships with previous people in the athletic department. You're just straight up rock star. And I don't know, I'm sure there's a little bit of fortune that's involved in this, but there's an awful lot of skill and today, it's just solid. You've done an amazing job, and I'm glad to have a chance to say it in front of everybody. But so Danny Renee, I agree with you. Mitchell C says, Coach, so happy you're leading our program. He's a 1980 UNLV alumni and a fan since 67. How long do you have a timeline on, is there a, hey, this year we'd like to win the Mountain West and maybe, national championship? Are you willing to share that, Coach Otzelberger?
Yeah. I mean,
David's like now.
I'm somebody that's much more of a daily habits and culture. And when you have the habits and the culture, the winning follows. And you can't get that process confused. And so we're never afraid to set the bar high. We embrace the expectations. We want to win the league. We want to, like our guys said earlier, we aim to win every single game. We want to win in the drill. We want to win being the class early. We want to win in our community. So to me, the wins take care of themselves when your culture is in place. And so it's those daily habits. And I don't know what it'll look like in a win-loss column. I don't know what it'll look like. I know we want to play in the postseason. I know we want to be playing late in the March. I know our guys, that's what we do this for, is to have those competitive opportunities on the big stage, on the national landscape. And that's what we're going to, fight to do every single day. But it really comes down to those daily habits and then hit repeat.
I've been fortunate enough to be the last couple of years, be the on-court guy for the Mountain West Championship. And all I can ever think of is I want to hand that to our guys. I want to, when I'm there, I'm playing down the middle and I'm playing it straight, but I want to hand that trophy to our guys. I really, really do. Kristen says, I warn people sitting around me that our family is up and down yelling and singing. And if you're not going to come along with us, then you probably need to find other seats. My son spent his 12th birthday cheering on the Rebels and got to meet a few players. That will go down as one of the best of his young life. And thank you. So it's good for you guys to hear that. I'll just throw this out there for any of the coaches and David and Marvin, we'll get back to you in a second. The question about Jan is a fan of Mbake Jean, and where and how does he fit in with all of these new players coming in?
Well, I'll tell you, Mbake is a very impactful player. We've seen his continued development and progress. His game's even going to expand more this year. He's a guy that I think he's an elite defensive player. He has ability to, because of his length, athleticism, and how he moves, he can disrupt so many things another team's offense does. And that gives us that ability to play out in transition. And we'll continue to work on the development side offensively, but he's a huge piece to this program. He's an impactful leader. He's a guy he's a hard worker, blue-collar guy. And we've got big plans for him and what he's going to accomplish individually and help us with our group this year.
Speaking of big plans and accomplishing things this year with the last couple of minutes. Oh, have they told you anything, coaches, about, will there be more opportunities? Because we were talking about what great quality guys these are, and they really are. Will there be more opportunities for the fans to meet these guys in this coming season? Have you been told anything?
Well, I know this. Our guys know the importance of servanthood and to give back. And guys like David and Marvin, they've been those guys that have been impacted by those that have come before them when they had a dream and how they look up to role models. And I can speak for our coaching staff as well. Coach Slocum growing up in this community, knowing how impactful it is. Coach Kruger playing in this program. And then, Coach Buck and I, apparently our mentors weren't good enough players because we weren't able to be quite to the level of some others on this call. But no, we will be out there. We will be supportive. Ask us. This is a us thing. It's a team thing. We're in the community. We're out there. We want to be out there. We're accessible. We're proud of our guys, proud of what we're doing. And there will continue to be more of those opportunities. We all need to support each other. And I know that we do that. This is going to be pretty special.
Okay, let me add on to that. We're very approachable at the end of the day. If you see, like, me and Marvin, the whole team, really, at the end of the day, if you see us before the game, after the game, like, I'm always going up. Like, I wasn't playing this year. I would always go up in the stands and communicate with all the fans. Like, we're very approachable, so don't be scared to come up to us at any time, because me and Marvin, we encourage and we welcome relationships at the end of the day.
Yeah, because I was going to say, Marvin and David are so hard to get along with. They're just, they're really tough to get along with.
We make our way around. If we're eating, we go to high school games every now and then. In the community, we're not all of us. We're playing for each other. We're playing for the community. We're playing for the fans. So as much as interaction as we can get with them, we want them to know who we are. We're not just basketball players. We're young men as well. Not just me and David, but the whole team, all 15, how many ever us, anybody, anybody that wears UNLV, we're all the same.
Yeah, and it was long overdue moving the Rebellion down to that other end, down by the visitors bench. You're impacting the game if you come to the Thomas and Mack and you sit in the student section. We've not having that lower bowl filled for every single game for me is inexcusable. Let me say that. With that being said, those upper bowl tickets, those are great seats. Those are the things that you may not understand. Those upper bowl seats are amazing. There's not and I'm not just hyping here. I know I'm wearing the shirt and all that. There's not a bad seat in the Thomas and Mack, and it's going to be a really exciting year. Just with these people that are here on this call. So as we get ready, as we get Kruger in this upcoming season?
Really just kind of getting back to work with the guys. I think, we've had kind of a long layoff, and I just think, again, I think it's just exciting from a coaching perspective to blend those groups together and really just get back in the gym and work. And, like Coach said, it may be a cliche, but you really do just look forward to getting better and kind of seeing things come together, seeing the guys figure things out and put it together and how to work with each other and make things work. And that's where a lot of the satisfaction comes in. So really just getting back after it.
Coach Buck, what do you want people to know?
We had to see what our progress was during this time, because I think it was an opportunity to try to get ahead, get in great shape, control the things that you can control and not use this time as a crutch. I think that the schedule is very demanding in a good way, and that's going to require great focus and attention to when we start on the practice floor, because some of those games are going to be won before we ever get to tip-off there. And then sustain that stuff through the season and play through a really tough Mountain West Conference where we have great players in this league and great coaches. And, there was a lot of dust during the course of the year last year, and then the dust settled and UNLV was in second place. And it's a tremendous credit to our guys, the way they forged along and they kept going. And now I think we're like that swimmer that's trying to improve by 1/10 of a second, not a full second. And I'm anxious to see how we're going to do that.
Yeah, not for nothing. We finished ahead of the team that won the conference championship. Just saying. Coach Slocum, the man with the well-researched crystal ball, what are you looking for this season?
I think it's growth. I think whenever you have 6 new freshmen come in, the biggest joy of a coach is to watch those guys stack their growths on top of each other. And by the time they're juniors and seniors, just watch them become young men. And so, but you don't always have that opportunity, right? Like sometimes your 8+ guys are juniors and seniors. Well, we're fortunate enough to have some young guys, and we can mold them to young men. As well as basketball players. So I'm excited about that, because I think we've recruited a quality young man that'll come in and work hard and be a good teammate and represent our UNLV brand in the right way.
Desiree, what do you want people to know about UNLV basketball?
I like what TJ said. This is an us thing, and we're all in this together. This whole great big Rebel community. Our student athletes are working, not just getting their bodies right to go compete, but they're competing in every arena. One thing I am really proud of is not only the work that they're doing in the community, but also, did you know that they had a 3.22 GPA this past semester?
Right.
That is the highest in our history. We had a 3.12, right, Marvin? We had a 3.12 cumulative for the entire year, but 3.22. And so if they're succeeding in the classroom, in the community, and they're working really hard, it's a process, but those wins are going to flow. And we need everybody in this community to bring that energy back. And we're very grateful. And I just want to say thank you very much for everybody tuning in. And thank you to you, Chet. Your partnership, and you are huge. When you are at those games, the energy you bring, and you can feel the love. So thank you very much.
Thank you. You're only saying that because I said nice things about you earlier. Hey, David, it was funny a minute ago as we were starting to head down this path of, what are you looking for next year? I noticed you stood up and I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. But I mean, David, I mean, obviously you just got to be chomping at the bit. I'm chomping at the bit. Like I said, I feel like we've known each other forever already. What do you want people to know about you and this team and what's to come?
Again, just to add on me and Marvin off the court as well. We're very approachable. We're young men. We're not just basketball players, Come up to us. We love relationships. We love interacting. But besides that, I mean, obviously we're going to be a very passionate team. Like at the end of the day, we're going to make sure we're leaving it all out there on the offense end and the defense end. I'm going to make sure I'm leading my team just like Marvin. But at the end of the day, we want to win. And we want to win at the highest level possible. We want to make it to that we do everything possible to make sure we're doing that, daily habits on and off the court, buying into the coaches and, things like that. Hanging out with our team that led to our success was we started hanging out off the court, going to the movies every Sunday. And people don't really realize, but that's something that really, it's beneficial. It helps you build team chemistry and camaraderie throughout your whole team. And I feel like things like that, little things like that is going to help us.
No question. Marvin, did we miss anything?
David, I don't appreciate you telling people our tricks, man. But no, just to piggyback on what everyone said, we want to play for each other, play for the community. And, I got in trouble a little bit during the season celebrating too much because the fans would give me hype. After a three, after a dunk or something, I'm turning up every time. So I need the fans in there. For me and my teammates, we're working hard. We're working hard. We're going to continue to work hard. And the coaches might not, but David, Coach TJ, they've touched the tournament. We're gonna, we want to win. We want to win. We're gonna win for the fans. We're gonna have consistent habits every single day. And I'm excited right now. Like Coach TJ said, I'm ready to get going. So
we need you guys there.
Yeah, we need it.
Me too.
We need it.
Heading into year 2, Coach Otzelberger, where what do you want them to know that we haven't already said?
Well, I'm excited by this call as well, by the tremendous leaders and the passion on this call. Want to be part of greatness every single day. And I knew the first time that I talked to Desiree on the phone that she was an elite leader. She was embodied everything you want as a leader of student athletes, developing young men and women and leading in this community. And you look at the coaches on this call, who they are as teachers, as men, as community members, as family men, the young men representing our university. So as we go into year 2, we're stronger, we're better. We have a lot of continuity that's so important across the board, and just ready to get to work, ready to give it our best, give it our all every day, and go to work with these tremendous people that we have on this call and many others. It's going to be a fun season.
Well, and to touch on your point as well, obviously I've seen Marvin, grow up and playing basketball here. And when I first met David, I knew he was a special guy. Just a special guy. And Coach Otzelberger, same thing. You came into the studio that first time and I went, I like this guy. This is my guy right here. And that goes for the same for the coaching staff and the entire program. It really, I'm not hyping when I say this is a special time. Be a part of it. UNLVathletics.com. Tickets start at $119. Get in there now, because I have a feeling if you wait too long and you go, well, let's see how it goes, you might end up missing out. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Again, just even if it's just a moment to reflect or a moment to just learn a little bit more about Juneteenth, make sure you honor it and celebrate that today. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. And yeah, I just can't. Can we play now? Please, can we play now? Come early, cheer loud, wear red, and go Rebels. We'll see you soon.